this, right? Like that, and turn off my overlays. I just wanted to make sure it's gonna screw everything up. It's gonna
I rated with a party of 1.
look at that. Look how smooth that was. Nice.
mean, this is their story on the bottom. Makes it sound like you're. I'll shut up now.
Okay, can we just testing?
Okay, can we?
Awesome. I think we fixed. Welcome everyone to episode 3. We should have fixed all of our technical difficulties, although I only see. Whoa! How come I only see Spot? Hold on a sec here. Let me just.
I'm here.
You are. It's actually on the stream. It's not showing up. Let me just fix it here. Audio and video. Everybody is turned on, so it just must not be something wrong with the URL. Let's try this. Okay, that fixed Jinx. Let's get down here.
I see those profile pictures right there actually make everybody look about the age they were supposed to be.
Yes, I updated those last week. Let me just get this, copy the link. Okay, so when Alamir gets here, we'll I may have to redo him as well. We'll see. But let's go ahead and get started with a little recap of last week's session. So the first 10-day of Mythal has been a rough one for our group of young friends, and the 6th day in particular has been extremely eventful. So Spot, Jinx, and Luna visited the old hideout and explored the first floor to see Jinx's brother and a stranger heading into the basement. Then they went to the roof and saw 2 prisoners brought in through a side door and overheard a conversation between Ladria Ginga and Athrazuk. Something about not liking the way recruitment was being handled and fearing that the truth of their organization might be discovered. Then they also talked about giving a pseudo-dragon as a present to higher-ups within their organization, some people they refer to as the wearers of purple. And they also mentioned feeding a wormling until it was old enough to be taken out of the city. Then Alamir showed up and asked for his friend's help in finding the scroll case required by the ransom note he and his mother had found to exchange it for the return of his father. They agreed to help, but first go to the Stone Saddle's tavern to tell Hagrid what they found out and their belief that the people at their hideout have Poopsie the pseudo-dragon. They also tell Hagrid about Alamir's kidnapped father, and he suggests they go and see the merchant Mojari, who usually knows a lot about the dealings within the city. Then he headed out to find and recruit help to check out the hideout. So the friends go to talk to Mojari. They find him and find out not only does he know about it, but that he does in fact have the scroll, has been holding it for Alamir's father while trying to find a buyer. So they get the scroll from him but decide, rather than go through with the trade, believing that Alamir's father is being held at the hideout, they decide to try to go there and save him first, and not give the scroll that could be of power and use to this organization, whoever they are, these people. So they go in search of Hagrid, and after some time find a guard who had just seen him a couple of blocks away. And when they get there, a half-elven woman with long dark hair and violet eyes steps out from the shadows, out of a narrow alley. And it seems she was waiting for them and is the help that Hagrid found. And that is where we resume our tale. As out of the alley, you see the woman, she says, "Oh, hello, little ones. I've been looking for you. It seems Hagrid has been having you do some work for him, and you have found a potential place where the pseudo dragon is being held. Is that true?
Yes.
Definitely.
And again,
That I hide behind Spot.
she goes, well, I am Schwan, and I believe that there are people around who can help us. And some of them are waiting for us on the way there. I hear that you all have experience and knowledge in this warehouse where they reside. So perhaps you should come with us. I do not want you to get in any trouble or be in danger. We will do our best to ensure that you are safe. Will you help us in this?
I mean, technically,
I
you're
look
helping
around
us.
at everybody and been like, I guess, yeah. We're just kids.
Yes. Well, age often has little meaning when it comes to being able to help others, to help stave off some of the evils that happen in the world. You may
just
be
say that
young,
because you're an elf.
but there is much that you can do if you are willing. Very good. Well,
Sure.
fantastic. So, and follow me then. And she begins walking. So right now, this was right around here. And you begin walking over towards the warehouse, which was just a little ways, a couple of sections over, warehouse sections to the east of you. And she walks north and then east along the major thoroughfare, and then begins to cut into that section where the warehouse is through some of the side alleys. And as you step into a side alley, you are met by some other individuals. You immediately recognize the City Watch, and in particular, you know this first person, Captain Orden Ronnie. So Captain Ronnie is a very well-known person in the city. Usually spends a good amount of time time walking around the city with the people that work for him, and meeting people and getting to know the townsfolk. You see him. He nods as your group with Schwan and the lead approach, and turns to the four people next to him. There are four watch people. There is a human male. There are two dwarves, and you've heard of the dwarves of the watch. There's only two dwarves in the entire city watch, and you know them to be brothers. That's well known within the city. They are known as Krodak and Karlik. And then the fourth is one that is rarely ever seen walking the streets. Actually, I believe. Oh no, I don't. But she is a Earth Genasi, a female Earth Genasi by the name of Micah.
Perfect name.
What's that?
I was just saying, perfect name, Micah.
Along with them, there is a third dwarf and
Wait, there was only two.
Of two guards, the two of the watch that were dwarves. There is a third dwarf that is this woman, and she.
Not a dwarf. She doesn't have a beard.
Yeah, and if she shaves it, there's something wrong with her.
So there is. She is a very, very stern. Also, just nods her head at the approach and is looking all around, as if she expects something to jump out at all of you at any moment. And next to her is an elven woman. And she is, if possible, as if you wouldn't have thought it possible, but she is even sterner and more taciturn than the dwarf. And she doesn't even blink, doesn't nod, just simply stands there still, glancing around carefully up and down the alley. And Shuan says, "These are our friends who shall help us. You may know Captain Rani, and these are members of the watch that are going to assist us. And this," and she points to the dwarf, "this is Yakulda Onyx Basher. She is the local representative of the Order of the Gauntlet, an organization well known for fighting the evils of the realm." And Yakulda nods again, does kind of a gruff, "Huh. Hey, we're going to show them all. Let's go. Show me where this evil is, and we'll root it out right at the source." And she points to the other woman. She says, "And this is Moralia Borasandor, one of our local representatives of the Lord's Alliance. And she has agreed to come and help us today." And the woman just, at the briefest of nods of her head, and she simply says, "Let us get on with it. No introductions are needed. Where is this warehouse?"
Are they looking at us now?
And yes, so is there?
Yeah, which way are we?
Is there one of you who would like to walk with me and show me the way?
You whispered, "Hey, Spot," so I turned to you first.
You're taller than her.
Yeah, don't point it out to them. Those people usually don't like that. If Alamir doesn't want to show him because he's the one most invested in finding his dad, if we believe that they're down there, otherwise I will show him, I guess.
And you see, she is actually looking right at you, Spot, because she looked around at everyone and
all look
for
at
whatever reason, she honed in on you and was waiting for you to say something. Excellent.
Because we were all looking at him too.
Yeah, and I'd just be like, it's this way. I don't like being the attention, and I just kind of like turn and start walking down the street that way.
It also could have something to do with, he might also look the most in terms of dress and mannerisms of somebody who might hang out in the warehouse areas.
Are you just saying that because he's half orc?
No, of course not. Most of the young men and women of the city who roam the streets are human, in fact. So
the ghost is here.
And I do need to fix him. Let us.
You're really blue.
Ghostly.
That helps. Now you don't look like a blue ghost, because literally you look like a ghost floating in a library again. Welcome in, Alamir.
Hello.
Welcome. Very good. The group, all of you, Alamir, are walking with Shua An. You just met a bunch of other adults, the captain of the city watch and 4 watchmen. There are, and a female, one of them is human, one is a female Urchinasi, 2 male dwarves, and then there is a female dwarf and a female elf that were introduced as representatives of.
And this was as we were heading, trying to find Hagrid.
And no, this was when you went looking for Hagrid, the woman Shua An is the one who came out of the alleyway saying that she had just talked to Hagrid. And these are the people that she took you to that are going to help you infiltrate and search the warehouse.
Okay.
So you walk with them to the warehouse, and as you approach the warehouse, there is a so as you approach the warehouse, it is not entirely dark, so this may not be, it's not fully dark yet, but there, as you approach the warehouse in question, there are a lot of shadows from the in the area. The sun is beginning to go down, and there is a moment where you round the corner, you point out the warehouse to her, and she nods her head, and she says, "We will wait a moment."
Is this the same? Was our warehouse?
Yes.
So we would know the nooks and crannies and best places to find darkness and hiding. Prior knowledge.
You do, yes, you do. Okay. Everyone make a perception check.
Since it's so well known, can we do it with advantage?
That's a really good question. You do know all the good hiding places, or you think you do.
Or at least, right. I mean, maybe not my guy, because he just walks down the middle, but maybe,
I would say
Spot
gets advantage. Spot gets advantage on the roll.
I did choose advantage, right? What went through?
Yeah, it went through.
Got an 18.
Okay. Well, no, it'd be -2.
Minus, yeah, you're right. Okay.
It's a straight roll for me at level 0.
I'm gonna bring that up.
Very good. So we're just going to take a look here.
What's my minus?
Oh wow! So you're looking around. You're kind of all looking around, and Spot, no one else sees anything, but Spot, you see something across, like to the left. So on the corner, on the northwest side, where Luna was hanging out above the door last time you were here. Across one of the buildings across from there has this really nice spot underneath the eaves that overhang the warehouse by several feet, and there is a spot where like there's light is blocked from two different directions, so that the shadows are even a little deeper, even in the middle of the day. And it's one of the spots that you have hidden before yourself, and you look there and you swear you see some movement, something dark and blending in very well to the shadows there. Towards that spot, you see Shuan and Captain Ronnie. They both kind of nod and squint up there. And Captain Ronnie turns around and looks at Shuan. He says, "It's all clear." "Very well. Then," she says, let us be quiet and let us enter the building." And they go right up to the front door.
And I thought I saw something, even though they say clear.
What you saw, it seemed like whoever is up there, they were looking and watching signals. And actually, as you watched, you did in fact notice a hand come out and do some hand signals that were just visible at the edge of the darkness. And so whatever
before they approached the door, I'll put my hand
were
up there.
interpreted. So you put your hand out?
Your stuff, Tom. Yeah, I was gonna say, before they walk up to the door, then I'll put my hand out and I'll tell her, I'll be like, "No, there's somebody over there," and point out the signals.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm getting stuttering. That's pulling up this map. Is it better now?
Yep, I can hear you fine now.
No. Oh, okay. It just, whatever reason, even though this is a plain black and white map, it's really going slow on my computer right now. Okay. So, I'm sorry. You guys aren't here yet. You're inside. So, here's this is my bad. Totally my bad. And of course, we just loaded a map, and now I'm going to load a new map. But this is a quick map. So you walk into the main warehouse, and Shuan asks you, the four of you stay back, and says, "So, last you were here, there were people upstairs and people downstairs, right?"
Yeah, there was one up in the office area. I think they made our stash an office, and then two of them went down in the basement. But then there was a couple people in here, and it doesn't look like they're here now.
No.
I don't know where the dragon board went, but he came in the door and then just went, and that's when we left.
Very good. So
he had the other dude. He kept punched him in the face and shoved him into a bag.
Schwa-En looks over at Moralia and says, "My dear, would you accompany me, and we shall see what if the leaders of this establishment might be found upstairs." And so she and Moralia go over to the stairs, heading up, and Ordon and Yakulda and the four guards say, Ordon says, "You're going to stay in the back. I don't want anyone to get hurt. Are those those stairs over there? They go down." I've been told that
he's pointing at the right stairs, and I'll be like, "Yep."
I was not given a lot of details, but I was told that there may be people down there who you know, and that we are looking to rescue.
I looked at Jinx and I go, "Her brother?"
My brother, possibly. And other people?
And someone's father.
His father. I just like...
My preference would be for you to stay behind, but descriptions are not always helpful in such situations. I'm afraid I will need you to come with us to identify people who we need to take extra care with. Can you do that?
Elemer stands up tall and says, "Yes, of course I can. And I shall."
Very good. Now, be quiet, and we will go first. You stay behind. With Schwa-En and Moralia taking care of whatever is upstairs and the outside being watched as it is, we should be safe from anyone coming up behind us. So, and they begin to walk over towards the stairs that go down. So, and you guys follow them, and now we go downstairs.
That's some amazing military movement. They all moved in precise formation.
They are well.
That's a good militia.
I should have followed the elf.
Gone the other way.
I was surprised you didn't follow the elf, lover boy. Or girl.
And now we're back to the map. The maps I'm using. Come on down, people.
Yeah, I see the map.
Yeah, but the streaming and everything with it,
that would be
the upload speed on that is what's slowing down. Okay. Right now, Tom.
Yeah, it's not doing anything, is it?
Well, we got your voice back to normal, which means your video should catch up shortly.
Okay. All right, we good? Everyone hear me? Okay. All right, so you get down here. This is, so you go down into that open area in the basement, and you show them the doors that, or you show them the area that you believed, the corner where you heard a door open and close. And Ordon is able, with the help of Micah, to find a secret door and open it. And you go down the stairs. This is a well-finished stone corridor. You guys had to have been here before, and Spot, you and your gang never ever found. But you probably never really paid much attention because you went through and checked everything out in the basement. But being in the basement, there was no easy exit, so you probably didn't spend a lot of time there. It wasn't.
No, it would have been like if we were stashing anything, maybe that was down here, but we cleaned all that out when we left. So.
Yep. So you get down here, and you begin to. I'm gonna hold on one sec. Sorry. Let's do this. So you get down here, and the corridor winds around a little bit. It is. It's just super slow. Obviously, we have other technical issues to take care of before next week.
It's all good.
You follow and place yourself wherever you did.
Them or right behind them so that they could he could point out who's who.
Jenkins for the brother.
Yep. You see through the open archway. So there's an Orden and Yakuda either side of an arch room. If you used torch or lantern light, lighting up, and it looks like it's a meeting hall, and they delay.
Can we use Discord for voice so that we don't, if you need the video off of video, because I cannot hear anything you're saying. Every time you move characters on the screen or
That's not good.
it's completely still. Right away, I'm not. Yeah. The MSA.
Not here.
Hey.
No, not going to do that. It's down here. Here we go. Let me try something. Okay.
Dinner.
We're gonna see if that works better. Is that any better? Can you still hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. We lowered the quality on the video, but I don't think it makes a big difference. In fact, I might lower it a little more.
It's a slight delay from your voice to what I see your lips moving, but that's about it. But that shouldn't affect what you're streaming.
Okay. 5, 6.
I can. That you were frozen and asked to go to Discord. That's how long of a delay there is. So you must be dropping some frames and stuff. Technical difficulties. We're working through it.
Let's even worse then. So the video, but you can hear me?
I heard part of that.
You should be able to hear me now. I don't think there's any. I think everything caught up with the changes I just did.
Okay. Yeah, I heard all of that fine.
Okay. Let's see how this works. Looking to the dwarves left, and Micah and the human who's west head a little to the right, and they kind of spread out. There is it looks like a meeting hall, and there's a lectern sitting upon a dais in the east wall. There's lanterns brightly lit to the left and the right, and then to your left. That archway looks like some kind of storage room with some weapons, armor, clothing, equipment, various boxes and barrels and such. Krodag and Karlig go up there, kind of peek in, come back. They shake their heads if there's nothing in there, and I'm simply going to zoom out and adjust things from a huge top down here, so I don't have to keep moving things around. Okay. There is a door to the right. So there's a door to the right and an archway on the opposite side. Orden looks at all of you. Have you been down here? Do you know what's through these on the other side of the door and the archway?
We never came down here that often, and then I would explain to them what we knew was there at the time before they took over.
So you've never been actually down here. This would be a section of under the city that would be between the sewers and the level that would hold some of the silent runs.
Okay.
Very well. So Micah and West go over to the door on the bottom, and they take some time and listen. And Micah gives a signal that it's all clear. They open the door and they look in, and they come back. And she says, "It's just a guard room, unmanned at this time." I suggest we go through the archway on the opposite side. And so they begin heading down that direction.
So I'm not sure which way we're going, north or west. Okay. East.
It's coming.
Sorry.
No, I know I'm giving extra time. This is going to be here. Something else for me to work and stuff going on for moving forward.
Yeah, my only thing is usually when I streamed, I'd turn everything else off that you possibly can. Just so you're dedicating your computer to the stream and to the upload.
There's nothing else going, but yeah, I will have to work on that. Okay, do some tests later. Wonder if there's a way actually I can change stuff in here. Maybe I think I can. Let's do this.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering if it's because you're the DM, you're showing more of the map and you're revealing other things that it just is uploading more at a time. I don't know. We'll figure it out for next stream for sure.
Let me see if I can change one other thing here real quick. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's really high. The video bit rate is definitely high. The audio isn't. And I can't change those, can I? This may help the video. And then the audio, that's only on mine. That's not going to do it.
Well, do we just want to continue?
Okay. Yeah, we're just going to continue from here. I think I improved it slightly, and we'll go from here.
Sounds good.
All right. We'll get through this, even if we have to pause every once in a while. So you follow them up to this archway, and Orden and Yakulda and into the hallway beyond, and then left and begin moving up. Okay. And you follow them, and you see that in the passageway, it heads into another archway. And it looks like there is a large training room to the north. So I'm just moving them all the way up just so that we are there. So, you know what? We're going to do something here. Because of all the technical issues, we're going to do this a little simpler. I'm going to pull this out back so we can see everything. And I'm going to, we're going to do some narrative stuff here because this is not working. Here, or let's just do this.
Otherwise, you could try without the extra upload of video of all of us.
Or even just your video, unless you need to visually say something to us.
For this spot. Let's try that real quick. Let me just go in here. This is frustrating. This was unexpected and unnecessary. Sorry, everyone who's watching. All right, so it did turn all the audio off too. Okay.
So do you want us all to jump into Discord and then just pull in the audio from that for now?
No, we're going to do narrative stuff, and I'm not going to change anything else.
Well, I'm just thinking because your video that you're doing here on VDO is you're still uploading it, even though it's not on the Twitch side now anymore. That's could be another thing that's slowing you down.
Yeah, but that wasn't actually causing issues last week. I don't know why it would now.
Oh.
All right.
Whoa, my screen just went fully white.
Yeah.
Yes, you can see everything now. So let's just do it from here.
Do we have audio again?
Yeah, audio should be back on. Audio happens with when your video shows, your audio comes in.
Wait.
It's connected.
Is my brother Squall?
You know, your brother, I think, has a name up here.
No,
it just says brother.
It just says brother.
That picture,
I'm
pretty sure is Squall from Final Fantasy
VIII. It could be. I don't know. I just he's this realm's lookalike. There we go. I don't know where the image came from. So you walk into the training room where you see lots of training dummies and weapons racks, and I'm going to actually turn that off. And you and Orden walks further forth, up further, two of the guard of the watch go to the right and check the other door. They open it. They signal that there's nothing down that way, and you can hear like chanting and yells and screams coming from through the door on the left side of the training room. And they open the door, and you all, and immediately Orden turns around and motions you all to come forth. Like, quiet, be quiet, come up here. And you go up and you look through, and you see as you see the backs of all of these people in this room. They're wearing cloaks. The cloaks their hoods are up, and against the far wall, you see the two. One of the humans that you saw, the one that was all beat up, that you saw being brought into the warehouse earlier in the day, as well as some other human male that you've never seen before, and being dragged, you see Zolduth, the red dragonborn, grabbing Grublup by the shoulder and roughly dragging him, screaming, towards the front of the room. And you all like you. I wasn't gonna. Can we? You small? Oh, it looks like I can actually drag stuff now. You see. I'm gonna do it like this. You look around the shoulder of Captain Ranny, and you see Grublup being dragged forward towards this green dragon wormling. Very young. You see the egg in the corner, all broken open, and the shells lying in pieces all around it. There are bones and the remains of like little bits of remains of old meat lying around at that end of the room. The dragon is shackled, not heavily, but just like, so it's on its left hind leg. There's a shackle that shackles it to the wall. It's a very long chain, but it wouldn't be able to move further than like 15 feet away from that point in the wall. And you see that the two cultists to either side of it, like staying out of range, where they could easily just back up a step and be out of range of it. And Zolduth just grabs Grublup and says, "To the Great Mother, we give this sacrifice."
I shout no.
and he's throwing Grublup forward, and he turns and goes, "What was that?" And Captain Rani and Yakulda and and they all just go rushing into the room. As soon as you yelled and there is a response, they go rushing into the room. He yells, and Captain Rani yells out to you, "Give directions on which ones, on any you recognize."
Save Grublup in his hand.
Watch him, the guy at the fur collar. Don't hurt him.
And
I don't know where my dad is.
And your dad, you do not see your dad.
Well, that's good then.
So,
not necessarily, because we thought he was here.
Gene, so you hear Ronnie yells, "Who?" Or actually, Micah yells, "Who is Grublup? Who are you speaking of?" Describe them.
The frog thing that he just tried to feed to the dragon.
Oh, and you see the dragon lash out.
Grublub, run here!
Oh, poor Grublub.
Grab Grublub and just like begin thrashing like an alligator would, just trying to tear a big chunk of meat off.
Evil.
So yes, if you would like, if you want to have actions in this,
nope, I was told to stay
regardless
back.
of whether you. So let's go ahead.
I ain't fighting
good.
adults,
Let's go ahead
man.
and,
They got weapons. We got kid boo-boos.
Yes, you do. You can still do things. You are in the middle of this this madness right now. So everyone roll initiative.
Oh.
And I will go ahead. And we're going to
Initiative
do.
is incorrect.
What's incorrect?
Oh, yeah, I just got to figure out what my initiative is. My initiative is a 2.
We're going to do that. And I'm actually just going to make another general one. One of the robed cult members hears that, like, all of a sudden turns around and looks back and you see Jeffa.
Well, we know they're the boss.
No, Jeffa was in our gang, which we figured he did something and ran off, and then we were like, he's weird. He didn't want to. I don't know. We had a suspicion that he was part of it, maybe.
Perfect.
Okay.
I guess I would say, don't kill him. He's a friend? Question mark. And I probably would yell out question mark. Is the singing guy down here?
No, he's not. No, Gypsy Phoenix is not here. All right. So there's the general. Oh, I guess I need to do. We're just going to do a general one for all the people with you. Yeah, that works. We'll do this general one. Okay. Unfortunately, the wormling goes first and begins just ripping Grublub apart. And you hear a scream, throttled and immediately silence as Grublub's entire upper torso and part of his neck is just ripped away and begins being chewed on by the dragon. And the dragon is actually trying to leap forward too.
That's why
so
you
it's
put him in initiative,
right at
because
the
you just
edge
wanted to
of its
kill him.
chain. There was a chance. It's all dice rolls.
But he didn't even get initiative to see if he could get above Hearst of FFFFF.
This is true. You are absolutely correct. So,
all right, guys, I have to check out for a little bit. Sorry, but I'm not going to fight. I'm going to sit and watch.
Mm-hmm. The various cult members, Jeffa is kind of sits there like unsure what to do. That's right. All the other cult members except for Jinx's brother begins going. You hear Zoldath saying, "Stop them! They shall become additional fodder for the dragon." And they begin moving forward, but like you notice that they all kind of move forward. The ones that were in the back turn around, but they don't necessarily get close enough to attack. They're just kind of threatening and blocking. And the two in the back will move forward. Not a whole lot, but they move forward. It's like they want to help, but they're not necessarily
committed.
Looking to. They're making a show of following orders without actually engaging the watch. Orden, however, will rush right into them and begins tearing into them, and immediately begins laying about and striking them with his weapon, as does Yakulda, and the guards rush forward. So they all rush forward and kind of make a wall in front of you guys. Alamir, you said you're just standing watching?
He's not here. He had to step away, remember?
Yes, that's what he said he was going to do.
Okay.
Watch.
Yeah, he said he was just going to sit back and watch.
Yep. So Alamir is just kind of looking around. He's like, "Oh, where's my father?" Spot, do you do anything?
Well, Grublub is... I would just yell out to Jeffa and be like, "Jeffa, throw your weapon down and come by us. Don't stand with them. What are you doing?"
Very good. Zolduth will pull his huge two-handed sword and begin stepping forward, pushing cultists that aren't doing anything, and continue to step forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do it one more, up to the point where he can attack Yakulda. And he takes a huge swipe at her, which is blocked. Actually, that wouldn't have been with his bonus. He he strikes her on the side, getting through past her shield that's being engaged with the other cultists. Jeffa looks right into your eye spot, and he says, "None of you ever understood. I'm gonna be powerful and
What are you talking about? You're gonna be dead. Look at these people.
I'll show you." And he goes rushing back towards the dragon.
Oh, dragon, eat him!
And
Come on, dragon, eat him!
And the dragon is still chewing on Grublub, and you see Jeffa like carefully slow down and go up behind the dragon, and then begin working the chains and the shackle on the dragon's foot. And you see his mouth moving, like there's too much din and he's too far away to hear what he's saying, but you know he's talking to the dragon. Jinx.
Mute.
Yep, sorry. I will run over there and standing slightly behind Alamar, I'll be like, "Brother, quick, come while you still can. as I'm pleading for my brother to come over and get away from all those cultists.
And your brother is just looking around, and you see...
If my voice carries at all,
like,
over the noise.
It does. It does carry well enough. You can yell and be heard above the sound of battle and the yells. And your brother, like, is the only cultist who didn't move. He just kind of stood there looking around and staring at you with his mouth kind of open, disbelieving that he was, that he was seeing you there. Herfavicia, the dragon, continues to kind of gnaw on Grublub.
So mean.
And looks at Jeffa and just kind of leans into him and to loosens up the slack on the chain. The cult members begin like moving forward and fighting. There's actually they'll move a little further forward. And then Orden and the rest of the watch go, and one of the cultists falls. Actually, I should be able to do this. There we go. And the others in the line in the front are also getting severely wounded. But they're actually relatively tough, at least in relation to the watch. Orden and Yakulda. Well, Yakulda now has Zolduth to deal with. Orden seems to be doing really well, and doesn't look like he's gotten hit yet at all. Alamir's still watching. Spot. Anything you want to do now?
I just yell out to Jeffa saying, "You're an idiot! You're going to die from this." Who are the two people along the wall?
They are, one of them is the one human that you guys saw brought in, all beaten up. And the other is just some other human male, probably in his 20s, that's chained to the wall. And they've both been beaten.
So nobody that we recognize really, though, right?
No, you do not recognize them.
Then I will stay where I'm at and just make sure that, none of the people that were behind are getting hurt too bad. Otherwise, then I might go in and try to be a stupid kid.
Okay. Zolduth takes some more swipes. Actually, let me do a swipe back at him from Yakulda. Yeah, she doesn't do very well. His general attack, yeah, he keeps banging on her good. And so he actually has been moving forward and around to kind of get a flanking position on them. So he is right now between you and the line of the watch and people you came with. Jeffa finishes unlatching the chain, and the shackles fly off of the dragon's foot. And Jeddah then backs into the wall and he's pointing out, and he goes, "You're free! You're free! Go! Go! And you can kill them on the way." And he points up to you guys.
Whatever he hoped to, gain with the cult and be powerful of is gone away because he just released their pet that they wanted. Yeah. Dumbo.
I don't have any way to fight back. I was just thinking, I don't really have any way to fight back with these guys. Look at these guys. They're big weapons and such.
You are, and you now have one of the enemies like right there in front of you. Like if he turned, he could easily.
I run around the corner and go, oh God, I can't look. Leave this to the teenagers or the older ones.
The dragon roars. Oh, I got to check something real quick here. And of course, I'm not going to see any. It's not showing me, is it? Oh, well, it would really help if I spelled green correctly. There, this is what I need. Oh, yeah. So the wormling rushes forward and towards the gap, gets here, and will actually fly. So leaps into the air, flies up to this side, turns its head, and releases this area, a 15-foot cone of poisonous gas that goes all the way to the dwarf, the first dwarf. Hits a couple of the cultists, rolls over Orden and Yakulda, and then keeps flying to the door. 10, 20, 30, pause, 1, 2, 3, and is coming right at the doorway that you guys are at. The cult fanatics keep fighting, and they're actually doing pretty well. In fact, this one, so you watch the one dwarf brother fall. They fight back, and another one of the cultists falls.
The good guys are supposed to win. I guess we're on the losing side.
Actually, this one falls too. So it's looking like it's relatively matched. And you hear Orden yell out, we must run. We must order retreat. Do not let the dragon escape into the city. Alamir, I'm assuming, is going to run around the corner with Jinx, like against the wall. He's like, he sees the dragon coming. He's like, whoa, no. And he just takes off around the corner. Spot, what do you do?
Yeah, I'll back up. I think that's about how far I can go.
Okay. Zolduth, he yells out, no, It is not time yet. You cannot leave.
I don't have Luna in turn
Stay.
order.
We will get you out of the city soon.
Are you there, Luna? We don't have you on the turn order.
Oh, you're right.
You never rolled.
Luna's not in the turn order. Luna, what have you been doing?
Can't hear you.
You're muted.
I rolled a 2 on my initiative. Can you hear me yet?
Yep, we can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, it should be a 2 on turn order.
Okay.
I'm staying with the other kids. Is there a door right here?
Yeah. Yes. And the
Can
door
we
is
close
open.
the door?
You've all kind of ran away from it.
Well, I thought we were going through an arch. That's why I didn't ask. So, but if there's a door, I would try to close it after we were through.
Yeah, I'd try to close it too.
So you run through.
Does it
So
push into the
Spot and
room, or
Luna,
does
you
it push
guys
into
close the
our
door.
room?
It opens towards you.
Okay, so we can slam it closed, and then I would say
Try it.
everybody get on this side and put your foot by the bottom of the door and help hold it closed.
Is there any way to latch it? Stones to wedge? Anything down here?
There's weapon racks and all types of and pieces of wood and wooden
The
practice
best door stop
swords.
is your foot. Come
It's a
on.
training room.
Well, if somebody's holding it, I'll try to wedge stuff in.
So at this point, if you want to do that, Spot and Luna can attempt to hold the door.
Yeah, then I would have closed the door
If
and
you guys
stopped
wanna
until
do that.
everybody got out.
Yep.
Okay. And Luna,
Yes.
you're helping? Okay.
Because they said don't let the dragon escape. So
So
I know Orden said retreat, but haha, fight it out and win.
it was Jeffa's turn. Jeffa is following the dragon. Jinx, what are you doing?
That's what Spot did. Would say we would want to probably.
Grabbing anything to help wedge the door.
Yeah, I'll grab whatever I can find to kind of try to throw into the door, and it'll be like really small pieces or whatever, probably. But I'll do whatever I can to help out.
Make an investigation check because you're so rushed and scared with disadvantage.
I don't know if I need disadvantage.
That seems appropriate. You look around, and you see a wooden like a wooden short sword, and you're like, yeah, we could prop it with this, and you go over to dig into the door. It's too short to like jam up to the handle. You could try to kind of jam it into the, at the base, like between the bottom of the door and the floor.
I mean, if that's what I could do, that's what I would try to do. But that's, yeah.
So at this point, we have the three of you attempting to hold the door as Hervisia is trying to push through. What could go wrong?
Dragon.
At least it's
We'll be
only a room.
fine.
So let's make the three of you.
Is there any?
Go ahead and make
Is there any
strength rolls.
latches on this door?
No.
Okay, so you're saying the three of us.
Each of you separately. It's going to be a group check.
I have a
12.
-2 to whatever this is. So
Ooh. Well, that's appropriate because you're trying to.
6. I helped.
And Luna. Okay. So, yeah. So, Spot, you've got a really good spot on the door and are trying to hold it in place. And you feel the dragon come up against the other side of the door, and you hear this big thump, boom, and the door moves just like 3/4 of an inch. And you push it back into place, reset your foot, and you hold the door against the dragon this round. You hear fighting continue on the other side. You don't know what's happening. And then it comes back around.
And as the door hits, I would yell out each time so that the Orden and Yakuda know that you said don't let the dragon out.
Alamir will come around and try to help hold the door as best he can. So Spot, you're still holding the door? All right. Is anyone doing anything different on their turn? Luna?
I'm trying to hold the door.
I get my resolve and I try to do my best to help.
Okay. Then back around to the dragon. You hear Jeffa on the other side of the door saying, "You idiots! It's a dragon. He's going to breathe through the door and kill you. Just let it go.
You taste better."
All right. Go ahead and make a group check again. Everybody roll strength.
Resolve was good. 16.
Yeah, I can't use athletics. I guess it'd be the same either way. Ooh, 14 that time. I got stronger.
I did a 16.
So, and Jinx, you actually get like you gave up using the sword to try to jam it. It wasn't really working. There wasn't enough room for it to get between the bottom of the door and the floor. So you actually then you're using it to kind of next to your foot against the door, and then you kind of like put it up against the foot and a little extra leverage so that your foot is like really nice and solid against the door. And Spot, you've still got a really solid placement there. Oh, and I said here, let's do a single D20. I did say Alamar was helping a little. All right. The dragon pushes forward again.
Is it really a dragon?
And it really is a dragon.
Is it though?
It's a baby. It's really a dragon. Was that Jinx? Was yours actually the 18 or is it? 16?
It's -2, so it was 16.
16. That's okay. That's what I thought. You guys, you feel the door. You feel this pressure against the door. Your feet are getting pinched by the door pressing against them.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll have a bruised
but you
foot.
hold it. All right. More fighting. It continues on the other side. You have no idea what's going on. You hear Orden yelling. You hear Yakulda yelling. You hear Micah yelling. You hear Zolduth. You hear various death screams going on. Other than that, you have no idea what's really happening. All right. Spot. Doing anything different?
Nope, holding the door.
Luna, are you doing anything different?
Still holding the door.
Okay. And Jinx.
I mean, does it sound like there's less of our people or more of our people?
Yeah, we can't see.
With the voices yelling as we were...
You distinctly heard at least 3 of your people still up, and you've heard lots of death screams. And you from the other side, you've only heard Zolduth distinctly in terms of
we're
voices.
keeping the dragon distracted for them.
Well,
Idea.
as soon as there's no pounding at the door, I'm assuming the dragon's no longer on us. So
Continue to hold, by the way.
All right. So you continue to hold. The dragon, you hear the dragon turn and breathe its breath weapon. You clearly, there's no pushing against the door. The pressure is gone, and you hear the dragon breathe, and you hear screams on the other side of the door.
by our people or theirs? Probably both.
You hear Micah scream and curses and yells and screams from Orden and Yakulda. And you were, up until this point, hearing dwarven curses, and that stops.
Jinx, run up and get the other 2 if you can. Hurry. That's all I say.
Run up and get.
And
That's right. Yard 2 are upstairs.
the fighting continues, but not as loud as it was before. Spot, are you doing anything different?
Other than telling Jinx to run and find the other 2 to help if they can get down here fast enough. But if I don't know, yeah. Right now I'm just trying to keep them in there, even if it's the bad people.
Okay. Luna, anything different?
Still doing the same. I think I'm really strong
Okay.
by holding this door.
And Jinx, what are you doing?
I go skedaddling
Jinx is
to
running.
go to try to find those R2. That pretty girl with the purple eyes, and then the other person.
You only remember the girl with the pretty eyes. Come on.
She had a very melodious voice, too. All right. So Jinx goes running off. Is that double?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Just didn't. Very good. All right. So Jinx goes running off. 3 of you are still holding the door. There is still no pressure on the door. And you hear the dragon roar.
I'm assuming he mad at his captors more than our people, but I don't know. Maybe not.
Probably sees
and battle continues on the other side. Go ahead and everyone but Jinx make perception checks.
Nine.
Very good. Luna, Spot, you hear the fighting, but nothing distinct. Luna, you are able to, you believe you hear Captain Ronnie and Yakulda. You know there's at least 2 people over there, but you also hear curses, and the sound of the fighting is nowhere near as loud, but it sounds like they're fighting the dragon.
I whisper to everybody while I'm hearing. Do you hear that?
Nope.
I hear it.
I still don't think we should open it until they knock on the door and say it's us.
Well, I agree with that.
All right. So Spot, you're still holding the door?
I'm still
Okay.
holding too.
At least my foot's less bruised now, since the last 3 rounds haven't been against the door.
All right. So you guys are still, so you wait, you're just listening. I'm just going to, Jinx, you go ahead, you keep running.
Hello.
Alamir,
Yes.
the dragon rushed the door to try to escape. Jeffa was trying to help the dragon, and you were all holding the door shut to keep him from
Unless you
escaping.
went with Jinx to go find the other 2.
No, I'll stand my ground here and go ahead.
And Jinx ran off to try to get Shuan and the other lady to try to help. You can hear, but you don't know what's happening inside the room. You just hear fighting going on.
Well, the door opens outward, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Are Spot and Luna trying to hold the door shut?
I have my foot jammed
Yes.
against the bottom of the door. Yep. And then Jinx shoved something into the door wedge between the door and the floor before she ran up top.
Okay. And I'm guessing my fireball is not ready.
If you have a necklace of fireballs ready, man.
Use it. No.
It goes off your hand.
So the fighting continues. Jinx, you can move another round. And you all, this next round, you hear the dragon roar. And in a roar of pain and anguish, and then like a little whimper, and then the dragon, then the dragon's yelling stops, and you hear Orden, Captain Randy's voice yell out, "All right, you can open the door and don't."
How do we know it's only you?
Peek around the corner.
How do we know they're not making you say that?
It's okay, little ones. Believe me, there's nothing they could do that would force me to endanger your lives.
I will relax from being against the doorway then and pull out the spear that Jinx shoved into the floor, and then tell
it was a
wooden sword. And then tell Luna or Alamir to run and find Jinx so she doesn't get herself in trouble, as I guess they've finished it off.
So, and so you're.
And then I'll crack the door open and peek in just to see if everything's okay.
Okay. Yep. So what you see in the room is, let's see.
What kind of dragon was it? Like, breath-wise?
A green dragon.
So
green dragon.
That's
green
acid.
Poison. But acid, yeah. I think poison, acid.
I think it's
poisonous gas.
Okay.
Poisonous gas.
Well, those are the easy ones. You just hold your breath.
So there are dead bodies everywhere. The dragon is lying cut to pieces on the floor.
Zolduth down too, I'm assuming.
Zolduth, you see, so you see, let's see, the dragon's here. They're like here and here. The brother has backed up, and Jeffa has gone back into the corner. And you see Zolduth is holding his sword up across both of the necks of the prisoners against the wall.
Why would he call us in?
You will come no further if you
That
want
was
these
still
to
going
live.
on. But okay.
And Orden, as you peek through the door, Orden says, "What of those two? I saw the one trying to help the dragon."
Jeffa was part of our gang, but he's a bad boy. You can arrest him. The other one is Jinx's brother.
And the brother was like, I didn't want to hurt anyone. Where's Jinx? Is he safe?
He ran to find your friends, Orden. Didn't hear a word.
Exactly.
So, Orden takes like a step. They take like a step forward each, and Orden and Captain Randy says, "Put your sword down. There's nothing to gain by continuing this." And Zoldu says, "You know nothing of who we really are." And he goes down and pulls a dagger out of the inside of his boot and turns and throws it at Jinx's brother.
Well, she's not here to see it, so that's probably a good thing.
That is good enough to hit him, given he's not really wearing any armor. And you see a glint in the air as it tumbles. The dagger tumbles through the air, and there's this red glint that flashes a couple of times, and then the dagger, next you see the dagger just appearing out of the chest of his brother. And there is this additional flash of light from the hilt of the dagger, and his brother just crumples to the ground and lies lifeless there. And Orden and Yakulda take this opportunity to rush forward and disarm Zoldath and wrestle him to the ground. "No more shall die today."
Just yell out, Jeffa, help him!
And as
Because I would assume Jeffa would know who he is, too.
I'm going to run over to the brother.
I
don't know if I know enough, but I'm going to try to do massing.
You go down, just roll a wisdom check.
Well, there is a medicine check, too.
Yeah.
There is, but that's not necessarily what you're going to do here. It's a save, so it would end up being like a 5. Or less. So 4 or 5. As you get up to Jinx's brother, you go to take a look at his wound, and you see the dagger, the area around where the dagger is penetrating through his robe into his chest. You expect it to be just sopping wet with blood, and blood to be coming out, but there's no blood. And you pull back the robe and you look, and the entire his skin is quickly spreading across his body it's just turning black, and it begins spreading and up his neck into his head, and his entire head begins turning, flushing color, a deep onyx, and down his arms and his hands, and you just within moments, his whole body is this deep black,
like a stone,
and then he begins to crumble away.
Okay.
And there's
a rogue, I'd steal that blade.
And so in front of you, Luna, is this black ash partially filling what remains of a robe, and this dagger that has this large ruby in the hilt that you swear is catching the light, what little light there is in the room, and flickering.
Now the dilemma is, would I even touch the dagger or not? Would I know anything of it with my limited knowledge?
No, you don't. You've never heard any stories or have any knowledge of anything like what you just witnessed.
Well, given my background, I would not touch the dagger. It's not of giving life, it's of taking.
Spot, are you doing anything?
Just pacing from looking in the door there to this side to see if Jinx is coming back in the door there, like trying to keep an eye on both sides. And as soon as I see Jinx, I go, no, you can't go in there.
So Jinx, you have rushed up the stairs. You hear Alamir like rushing after you, but you got a head start on him. You rush up the stairs and start crossing over to the stairs going up to the second floor. When coming down the stairs, taking them two at a time, you see Shua An, and the other lady, Morelia. And Shua An just, Jinx, correct? Like, what? Is everything okay?
Help! The dragon was loose. The dragon was loose.
And she curses and she begins running, running and leading the way, with Morelia right behind her. And you guys are now, are you following them back down?
I'm doing the little cartoon,
And you all run by Alamir, and so all four of you are now together running back down into the basement.
Alamir the whole time is like, it's already done.
So you get there, and you see Spot standing outside the door. Shua and Morelia go rushing into the room.
I held Jinx back and I go, your brother didn't make it. You don't want to go in there.
Oh. I try to push past him.
If she pushes past me, I'll lightly try to stop her, but I'm not gonna stop her. So,
all right. So Jinx, you go into the room.
See Luna standing over a body of ash.
Yeah. There's a robe there, and a bunch of black ash and this dagger.
Kill them.
You don't
was it you?
Recognize the robe as your brother's. You don't recognize anything about but your brother is not in the room either. You look around at all the dead bodies and he's not here.
Oh, Squall's not him.
Well, you don't know. Yeah. So unless Luna fills you in,
that means he got away, right?
He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone, but he's not dead. If he was dead, his body would be here.
I don't know how to explain it to her.
You point down at it and you go,
He's
"This was
gone.
him."
Yeah, but there's no body. So he can't be dead.
He disappeared.
Brother?
You know when you go to a funeral and they say ashes to ashes?
No.
Well, here's the ashes.
So, Shua An is over talking to Captain Rani and Yakulda. And, they have the Red Dragonborn Zolduth fully tied up, and Yakulda will free the two human males, and she touches them, and they like this golden energy comes out of her hands and infuses their bodies, and they begin to come to and are able to stand up shakily on their feet.
Is Jeffa still alive?
Jeffa, that's a good question. No, Jeffa is still alive. He has gone all the way into the corner and is just kind of sitting on the ground and just kind of hiding, trying just to not be.
If I'm just gonna say this, in this whole narrative part here, unless I'm stopped, and I see Jeffa, if I don't see my brother, I would grab whatever weapon I would see on the ground, dagger, whatever, and I would take it and I would rush at Jeffa awkwardly.
All right,
I stand on the handle.
Probably not gonna go pick it up.
So Luna, Jinx, like you didn't expect her to do this. Like she reaches down and you had specifically stepped like weren't touching the dagger. So she reaches down and grabs it. Are you saying you want to try to stop?
I'm gonna try to step on the handle so she can't pick it up if I see her going for it.
You see her going for the dagger. Go ahead and make each of you make a dex check.
The way I've been rolling tonight.
+1.
Ooh.
The dex, right?
Yep.
Whole 11.
So, Jinx, you go to grab the dagger, and as you're bending over, Luna's foot just like barely gets in front of your hand, and stomps down on the hilt of the dagger.
I tell her she doesn't want to touch that. It's cursed.
I would run at Jeff anyway.
I let her run at Jeffa.
Doing 0 damage. I mean,
so you run over to Jeffa and Jeffa just stands up and and goes to try to push you away, and you go underneath and you slam him up against the wall and knock the air out of his lungs, and he falls to his knees coughing. Wait, what? I didn't do anything. I didn't kill your brother.
Wouldn't stop me.
And you just keep like hitting him, and he's just lying on the ground.
Is my foot turning black? Or turning dust?
No,
okay.
It's not.
I'm going to take the handle of it so nobody else can get it until I figure out what to do with this thing.
So you're going to pick the dagger up? All right. Are you trying to do this surreptitiously? Or are you trying to prevent people from
No.
seeing you?
I'm just trying to get.
Okay.
And poof, he's gone.
There are.
I'm a kid. Foot didn't turn black, so I'm guessing it's safe to turn the handle.
Shuan walks over very quietly, puts her hand on Jinx's shoulder, and pulls you gently back. I know, little one. We shall make sure that he is dealt with. He will spend time paying for his misguided deeds here. I'm so sorry for your loss.
But he's not here. He can't be dead. And I go bawling.
She kind of guides you, turns you around and guides you back towards Luna. And as she does, Jeffa takes off running, but he makes it halfway across the room when Yakulda barrels into him from the side and just knocks him against the wall and knocks him out, and he's lying on the ground stone cold. You're not going anywhere. And Shua Ann walks up to you, Luna, and she says, "May I see the dagger?"
And she's one of the healers, right?
She's the one that met you in the
Yes.
beginning, the one who who seems to be the leader.
I mean, she's one of the ones that did the healing, right? Okay.
No, she's not.
I'd tell her you saw what this did, protect it from others or protect others from it, and hold it out for her to take gently.
And she grabs it, and she says, and she looks and studies it very carefully. This is not necessarily an evil weapon, but it is certainly dangerous. I shall hold on to it.
Sounds good. I achieved my goal. I saw what it did, and I prevent it from doing any more.
Is there anything in particular questions? So the two, there was some questioning that Captain Rani had done of the two guys who were chained up. He grabs them, and Yakulda and Moralia will grab Zoldath and haul him out, and Shua Ann will carry Jeffa out. As you are walking out back up the building, are there any questions anyone would have?
I do quietly ask the leader something. Since the brother was here, can we tell the family, yes, he died, but as far as we could see, he wasn't part of the gang, to save the family, help prevent questions. Does that make sense?
You don't speak bad of my brother.
Of course. And I think it's quite clear that he
Was a victim.
While many here may have been misguided, I was not of the harder mind to hurt others.
Alamir wants to know where his father is.
He is not here, but neither was Ladria. We found Oth upstairs, and he fought to the bitter end. We unfortunately had to kill him. was not able to get any real information out of him. Since you know this building so well, she looks at you, Spot. Were you familiar with the upstairs rooms as well?
Yeah, that's where our main crash place was when we stayed here.
I thought so. So, perhaps you, and she hands Jeffa, actually, so you go upstairs, and
have we cleared all of the downstairs?
We don't clear anything. We're kids.
The guards tucked it all
Because
up.
the first thing I thought of as leaving the room is like, we should really inform the Hunters Guild about a dragon. Let's make some money. But I'm a kid. I don't know that. Actually, I probably would know that, but you know, I'm sure they'll have their own cleanup crew.
Well, I was thinking if we're looking for the father still, could he be in one of the other rooms?
The guards did check the other rooms.
You guys are more than welcome to run off to the other rooms, but if they're asking me to come upstairs with them, I'm heading upstairs.
Oh, I'm not checking other rooms. I'm letting them do that.
No, they've already checked everything they needed to, and there is, they do look in very quickly around. Actually, they just look around as they walk out. They don't go check any other hallways or anything. But when they get upstairs and the main group, everyone except for Shua and the four of you walk out the front door, and immediately there is a heavily cloaked figure that sneaks in with two other cloaked figures behind him and goes spreading out and then goes downstairs. They're definitely, they look to be some kind of cleanup crew going to look around.
So it's Mr. Wolf.
Schwatan takes you upstairs into the office that Oth was using. And you see, so Spot, you had seen all the papers and everything and the stuff that he was working on.
My focus would probably be the dead body up there first before I really turn around and focus on anything else. Good point. Yes, you get up there. And
yuck. There's a dead body, and there's a broken chair and a broken table, some glassware and other things that have been thrown about the room. And you see, there's not a lot of blood. There's one in the chest area. There's one wound that seems to be bleeding a little out onto the floor. Shuan will quickly go over and kind of grab some kind of piece of cloth, maybe a rug, and pull it up over the body. You don't need to see that. My apologies.
Thanks.
Is there a are there any let's look around. I don't know if you see anything special of note. We're looking for things, for items, and for pieces of paper that may give information as to another place within the city, somewhere close by that perhaps they might be holding Elamir's father or using as and holding Poopsie and maybe using as an additional.
So look for things that were not here before they got here.
Right, which you all would have, and you all would have, if this was the main hangout area, you all would have a sense. So you can all roll investigation checks.
Investigation?
That's only a 6 for me.
You can do, yeah.
I mean, that would be eyeing it up too. Did they make any changes to the room, like shrink it in any way that they might have put in a false wall somewhere, or just in general from what we knew what the room used to be?
Maybe you just grew.
Because I guess that's
Not
that would be
you-
something too. Just spotting around, like, okay, everything looks right, and then I'd go into my search. But
Does a 21 get
Yep.
anything?
You still get a +1?
I get a -2, so 21.
well, you don't
He's
get your
-4 for
bonuses
intelligence.
plus a
Well,
-2.
you rolled, but that has a +5, so you actually rolled an 18.
I only get a -2.
You don't get your proficiency either.
Oh, you don't get your proficiency bonus? Okay, so
Nope.
18.
So 18 but
16.
minus
Does it
2
16?
would actually be 16, which is still good.
No, I got
You
a 23. It's right there.
Okay. So yeah. So nothing really. There's lots of papers
Of
around.
course.
I guess a good question is, so lots of papers, lots of writing. Jinx, I would assume you have some modicum of ability to read. Probably not.
Read?
High
Oh, I can
level
read
yet,
fine. My
but-
parents are well off.
Yeah.
Or not, they're not hurting,
Okay.
so I have some educational. I might not be the smartest kid in the world, though.
Pretty good. And Alamir, I know for sure you definitely can read and have a lot of experience with different types of research documents.
These are dragons?
And did we find anything about
You
Poopsie
find-
yet?
Well, you don't find anything specific about Poopsie. You don't find anything specific about Alamir's father, but you do find Alamir, and you notice it because you're like, as soon as Shuan mentions another place, you begin looking for addresses, things that give directions or addresses, like what other places do they work with, and you find quite a few. They just begin popping out at you as you look around at all the papers lying around. Almost all of them are simply addresses to businesses where they've bought things, where they've had work done, or where they're, or places that they're where other businesses, except for one, and it is a residence, an apartment in a building. Just to the west of here, right on the edge of the warehouse district, right next to this one. So, you show it to Shuan, and she says, "Yes, I think this is it. Let's go check it out." And so you walk outside, and so right now you are all somewhere around in here, and you just walk over and actually you pass this building on the way here. It's right on the north side, right near the intersection. And Shuan leaves you all in the intersection. It's getting dark, but the streets, it's still early in the evening, around dinner time. Plenty of people walking up and down. She goes, "You all stay here, stay safe. I will be back soon."
Stand by the closest lamppost.
And she goes inside the building. She's gone for but a handful of minutes, and she reappears, and she says, "Come with me, little ones." And she walks back inside, begging you to follow her.
This is where we're all never seen from again. And then I start following her.
Hello, girl.
Inside this, so this is a warehouse building with apartments on the top. And in one of the apartment at the very end, kind of like not so it's not a penthouse. The word's escaping me. But like if you go to a hotel and you a suite, it's like a suite. And so she goes to the end and she opens the door. Doesn't look like the door was forced. She's able to just open it. And inside is a fairly well-appointed living room with a bedroom and a back room. And she motions you all to the back room and she says, I believe this is exactly what we were looking for. Unfortunately, we are too late. And against the back wall of this back room, there is a perch with like shackles that would fit around the neck of a pseudo dragon, with the chain just hanging there, and like little pile of poop underneath it, and to the right of it are shackles against a wall. That would be for humans. Or else, yes, humanoids.
We lost Glub Glub and Poopsie.
Somebody.
So, Alamir,
can I investigate the shackle area to see if I?
There is so here is, and you in the shackles is your father.
Oh, so there's still a humanoid there.
There is. You see your father, very worse for wear. The question is, how
I will do medicine on him.
I'm so. We could do this narratively. We could do this through dice, or you could choose what state you find your father in.
Oh, my father's in perfectly good health.
Okay.
If that is your wish, then we shall bend the narrative towards.
Oh no, only because I need him alive.
Okay. Then your father is there. He is looks like he hasn't been fed well. He's been mistreated. He has scrapes and bruises all over. He is currently unconscious, but he is breathing.
Is that the French tongue?
No, that's the son kissing the father on the forehead, saying, "Daddy, Daddy, wake up, Daddy."
And his eyes flutter open.
Oh, thank God. I don't know why he suddenly has a British accent, but or a Yorkshire accent. He's like,
Alamir?
Oh, father, you're alive.
Oh, Alamir, what are you?
I'm going to recant everything that we did for the last day and a half or whatever, or for me for the last 3 days, trying to find him and this and that and explain what happened from the family point of view up to where we are now.
Do you have a name for your father?
We shall call him.
Is that a good name for him?
He may be a priest for all we know. I was thinking something along the lines. Maybe it's something like if the son of Alamir. So the son is Alamir. So the dad would probably be.
Did you see what I typed in chat?
Sure.
So I told him to look at chat.
Yeah, that's what I look at chat, and I see that. That is yes. That's what I was coming with. Something along those that words.
So Althedon looks up at you and listens to your story and just says,
Al.
And he hugs you.
Everybody
close.
calls him Al.
He's a short, balding guy.
Yes, Al and Al Jr. Just
That's
not
right.
quite the same names. So he Shua Ann goes up.
Now, does he have some
she's
sort of
looking around, she
prestige
says,
to the city? Or is he just a trader of rare goods?
He has,
Right, but he's not a
known.
politician or anything. I mean,
No,
but he
is
is
not
known.
a politician. Okay. He's definitely known. Shua Ann, she says, I'm sorry, I cannot seem to find a key. So we're going to have to do this the slightly longer way. And she pulls out some lock-picking tools, and she begins to undo his shackles.
Watch carefully.
It takes a few moments.
Watch her moves very carefully.
Yes. And they clink open one after
Teach me
the
how
other.
to do that.
He rubs this. I'm sorry. Jinx, are you sure I don't think your parents would probably approve. Would
Do I
they?
have to know?
I was gonna say, but they don't know. It doesn't hurt.
Only if he promises use it for good.
She ruffles your hair a little bit. So cute, so cute.
Aunt does that too.
Althedon, I believe you should probably take your son home and see your wife. Could you stop by the watch office later and give a report? Of course. I could certainly do that. Very good. Well, and she turns and she looks at all of you. Well, little ones, you have, as I said, age and size matter little when it comes to being able to help. I know that today did not turn out as we all would have hoped, and I am truly sad and sorry for the losses that have occurred. We shall do whatever we can to ensure that more do not follow them. And then we get to the bottom of who this group of people were. I would very much like you all to stay in touch. I imagine as long as I know where one of you are, I should be able to find the others at some point.
Depending on the ways of the world.
You shall see me again, I am sure. And she ushers Elamir's father and the rest of you out the door, and you disperse.
That's it. Adventure's over.
Game done. We win.
All right.
Little prologue. No. So as level 0 characters, you have survived.
We survived a dragon.
There was definitely a way there a couple of ways you could have made decisions that would not have turned out well.
Well, I almost thought closing the door was a decision that wasn't going to turn out well, but
that was one I did not think was going to turn out well, because if you had not been able to hold the door, the D6 damage as the door got pushed open could have been enough to kill at least one of you. So anyway, Alamir, tell us a little something of what you think the reunion with your father and mother is like.
Well, initially on the way home, I'm going to be pestering my father about what happened and what was so important about this scroll, because he's not going to tell his father he has the scroll on him, but he's asking his dad about the scroll and what was the importance of it. So I don't know what I get from that. And the scroll, he will eventually, when I say eventually, let me just back up a little more. He's going to pester his father about finding out what the scroll was all about. And when he gets the answer that he likes, he's going to give the scroll back to his father. So that his father can think about him in a way of he's becoming a traitor, someone who can talk the talk of getting information out before providing the actual item that is being looked for. Because I'm trying to get answers before I give the payment. Trying to do what he does.
So your father doesn't know much right about the dagger, other than he knows that it was it is a sealed scroll case of arcane nature that they had not opened because of the type of sigils and words that were on it. They believe it's magically protected, and also that whatever is inside it could be incredibly powerful. And finding a buyer for it, they were hoping that perhaps Candlekeep or some other major repository of knowledge that can handle such things would have been interested. There are many collectors and such, but they were hoping one of the major libraries in this part of the world would have been interested in it.
And then I will give it back to him after every.
In the days that follow, as your father goes and makes his report and is kept and also it would be 2 or 3 days later, but one of the next things you experience is having a guest for dinner, and it is Mojari, and because of his involvement and in this, your father invites him to dinner to make sure that he's feeling kind of. Your father has done a lot of dealings with Mojari over the years, and realizes that if he had done something like this earlier, perhaps you and your mother may have thought of him in the beginning when you were looking at people to talk to. You also find out that and you all, of course, and I'm sure you all share information as things are learned about. There's lots of rumors on the street that this dragon riding group was actually a recruiting front for the Cult of the Dragon, a group that has relationships with dragons. So while the Wormling was shackled, that primarily was probably for its safety.
Sounds like a great band name. Cult of the Dragon.
But there are lots of stories told about the Cult of the Dragon, and many of the skalds and bards and singers and storytellers of the town began telling a lot of those stories after this, as rumors of what transpired spreads. And so you hear a lot of those stories, and we'll determine like what kind of information you learn about. Maybe some of the basic things that you could learn.
Jinx was bad. He's got the eye right here.
The gist of what you know and are told. You can ask Shua Ann when you see her around, is simply that the cult it's a cult of dragon worshippers who pillage and kill in the name of evil dragons. And you know that they operate in the Western Heartlands, and in the past have created and still to this day threaten to begin a war between dragonkind and the civilized nations. That's the basic core of what you learn about them. And you do know that Samaster the Mad, who you remember Gypsy Phoenix singing about, was actually the person who created the cult hundreds of years ago. So, and I guess also just throw out that the reason the cult was created is because Samaster believed that dragons were destined to rule the world, and created the cult to help bring about that end and be a part of it. Jinx, we'll save you for last. Spot. What Jeffa, Jeffa like basically goes to jail. You see him on work details, and he, at least for the next year, is part of basically in a part of the workings for the city watch.
Chain gang Jeffa.
What happens now? And nobody and after this happens, nobody comes to claim or live in that warehouse again. Do you guys go back there? Do you find a new place? What happens to the gang?
Well, the first thing I would do is go find Hagrid to let him know that we failed on getting his dragon, but we didn't find it dead anywhere, so it might be out there, but it's probably in this cult of the dragon's hands. Whatever that means. And then I would have to head out of town to the River Gate to go talk to Glublup's family to let them know that he was eaten. And I don't know how else to say that to them. I would just say that he was eaten by a big dragon. He fought well? Question mark. I mean, he did fight to get out of the bag, and he got punched and thrown back in. So, I mean, he didn't go down without a fight. But and then I would offer my assistance with them and anything that they need to let me know, and I will try to show them the same help and love that they've shown me through me getting older. And yeah, those would be the first two things I think I'd probably have to go do. After that, depending if the gang sticks together or not, because I'm assuming that's a pretty traumatic thing for a lot of us. I don't know if they would stay together or not. I'll let each of them make their own choice on that. But if I would talk, I would want to learn more from the city guard guy. Or Ortho, is that his name?
Yeah.
Ortho
Ronnie.
Captain Ronnie. So I would try to see if the city would be nice enough to let me back there, as that was my home for a while. And try to, tell them that when I grow up, I'll either join you or help you in any way that I can. But this is my home. And if they allow me to stay there, then I would. If they wouldn't, then I would find something else to do, I guess. But eventually, forward in time, trying to find a way to better myself by, not necessarily joining the army, but maybe doing something like that leads me into the monk status portion that I want to go to with this character, that it would be more of a discipline, or a temple that I would join, that I would learn the monk discipline to better myself in my fighting with my hands more than just relying on weapons and armor.
Of course. So
because you can never
I
disarm
will tell
those.
you, I know Alamir already has lots of existing structure and support for whatever direction for training he wishes to go. So I will tell you that given that narrative, you have 3 different resources that will help you as you grow older. Grublup's family, they're not wealthy.
I would imagine not.
But they are generous, and they have resources and knowledge of various groups of extended family of theirs, and people that they have come into contact with. Grublup's parents have this natural affinity, especially his mother, to meet and win over people. Obviously, because they're allowed even to not, they can't come into may not be able to come into the city, but to be able to live just in the region and be accepted by any aspect of it speaks to how good she is at that. And she's met many people over the years, adventurers, merchants. They have contacts all over Western Faerun and into the inner sea region. And north as well, and as far south as Kalimshan. So in terms of if you are ever looking to go somewhere and you need a place to stay, she can write letters of recommendation to help you or to help find ways for you to get there. So contacts, she's good for contacts. Captain Ronnie there is a local. They handle most of the, the policing of the area, and there isn't necessarily a city militia. It's not really needed in Hill's Edge simply because there's so many ex-adventurers that live there who are willing to help protect the city if anything major happened. But given your interests and questioning and the connection and what you've shown him, he actually starts a small little street militia group just to help. It's almost like a YMCA after school.
Come here, meet up, get trained a little bit.
Big brother,
or big brother, big sister program, where everyone gets a mentor and such, and he actually becomes your mentor.
You get a mentor.
Directly.
You get a mentor. You get a mentor. Right. Everybody gets a mentor.
And actually, out of your gang, so the leader of your gang is his name is Dom, DHOM. He's a human male. He's 14. Actually, soon after these events, he turns 15. So, and he's getting ready to move on, and he's arrogant and rude. You've never really, liked him as much, but the second in command, Tugren, who is also a human male, a year younger, is very friendly, jokes and likes to tell puns, and has an aspect of fairness that he believes is important. And so he is what makes the organization really work. He's really the person that holds it all together. And then the third one, also 13 years old, was a half-elf by the name of Vuth. Lots of piercings all over his body, including probably places you don't want to know, and is very curious and is really big about freedom. And those 3 stay together for a while until Dom ends up going off and looking to become a mercenary. He decides it's time to leave and find his better, bigger and better things. But Tugrin and Vuth both join you in training, and it helps them a lot. And they make a lot of good contacts. And you think that Tugrin in particular shows a lot of interest and will probably end up becoming part of the City Watch when he gets a little older. So it's very good. That's very good. So you and as part of with this contact and Captain Ronnie, there are a lot of martial military based contacts that, of course, he has, and ways to help you kind of seek out and also to try out different things too, to see what you like, and maybe those trainings are what helped you find the style of fighting. To learn that you really didn't really care much for spear and sword play as much as you did hand-to-hand combat.
You can always get disarmed when you have to have a weapon, and I never wanted to be disarmed, so that's why I chose the way I went.
Excellent. And the third resource is, of course, Shuai. You do continue to have, all of you continue to have connections with her, and she comes around and checks on you a lot. And
How you spell her name?
you are very quickly told, perhaps even by Hagrid, that she is the local leader, the known face and contact and leader in the city for the Harpers.
She's just trying to recruit us then. That's what it is.
And I don't think I need to tell you what kind of resources she has. Luna. You go back to the Grove, and you continue to hang out in the city and are and grow up in the Grove, at least for a couple years at this point. What do you think that is like, and what happens?
Well, there are 3 different Druid Masters I'd be studying from out there. Each have their own different direction in the Druids, as I'm trying to discover which direction path is right for me. With the lady that I gave the dagger to, I try to stay in contact with her. And then the healers in town that I witnessed down there, I try to get to know them a lot better, see what I can learn from them. When the other individual went out to tell Grublub's family, I went with him to do wherever I could, even though it was little to nothing.
Very good.
And I'd
Very
be
good.
quiet.
So,
I'd still be watching around town, watching for the shadows that I am concerned about from my past.
In the time that you are here, that still living around Hill's Edge, the shadows never appear. They don't find you. You're sure they're still out there somewhere, but they don't seem to find you here. And you continue to learn and grow with the Druids. And in addition to those 3 Druids, there are many others that come through. Then you are also introduced to a lady, a local Druid. Where is she?
Do you want her to be? Do you want her to be one of the 3, or just she's another?
No.
Okay.
So right there. So there is a halfling by the name of Sarla Wheatfollow.
Sarlia.
Well, I thought she was in here, but maybe she's not. I guess I guess she's not. Yeah. So yes, Sarla. Yes, Sarla. So Sarla, we follow is the local. So she works closely with the Druids, but she lives in town, and she spends a lot of time and a growing amount of time looking over, seeing how you're doing, seeing how the Druids in the Grove are doing, and she will occasionally take you on excursions into the forest to the south, where is a very strong presence of the Feywild in that forest. But you also learn that she is the sole local representative for the for the Emerald Enclave, which is an organization that works similar to the Harpers and the Lord's Alliance and the Order of the Gauntlet, that works throughout Western Faerun to try and to fight against evil. Their take on it is, of course, the balance of nature, and not letting that side gain a foothold too strong.
As she and I got to know each other, would we know any of the same people from the Feywild from that part of my time? Or is that still to be determined?
Well, we could easily. Oh, as a matter of fact, she recognizes one of the names. Probably one of your parents. Like, she may have heard the story and heard your parents' names.
They were not from Feywild. They were from other. I got sent to Feywild for a few years before I come here, if you remember correctly.
Right.
So I was hidden in the
hidden
in the Feywild for a while until I was found there, and then I got moved here.
But you had a guardian,
yes, there.
right? You had guardians. It would have been your primary guardian whose name she
Okay,
would know.
perfect. So she's probably the
That's
next guardian watching over me. Something like that.
Yep, that absolutely would be the way that you would likely look at that. So the bottom line is there are lots of different avenues and paths and resources within the Order of the Druids that you could utilize. Doesn't have to be here around Hill's Edge. It can be anywhere else in the can't be anywhere else, but anywhere else within northern to southern Faerun. So from Icewind Dale down to the jungles of Chult.
I'd still hang out with the group as I hung out with the others too, so I might disappear for a little while, show back up as I'm making my way.
Very good. Excellent. All right, Jinx. So,
well, did you start?
How does...
When I go home,
yes,
I lie to my parents. I deceive them. I let them believe that he ran off to go join places, goes to the sea or whatever words I can come up with. It doesn't really matter at this point, but I lie to them about his thing because I don't truly believe he's dead anyway, because I still haven't seen the body. And I spend my following years after that, where they keep a little bit tighter leash on me to begin with for the first couple days after he's gone, just to make sure I don't, run off too, because of everything. And I spend the time a little mad that my idol was part of that whole group, from what I've heard from all the rumors.
And just so you know, you don't see him again. He has disappeared. Yep.
But I will. I take that time to pay attention to the other bards that have come into town, as well as from time to time throwing out stories and everything else, and adding to the stories that the bards are saying, to include things that turn it the direction I want to turn. And I find myself very adept in lying and convincing, but be able to use deceive them to let them believe what they may or may not want to believe. Um, Sometimes for the benefit of us, sometimes for whatever. Um, yeah, and I kind of, like I said, I kind of basically hate to say it, but I become basically an internal spy around the area just to feed knowledge back and forth with people. Not really an not ill-willed, but yeah.
So you in particular, Shua An, spends a lot of time keeping. Yep, that was it.
And I feel like the
Shua An.
luckiest boy in the world is the purple-eyed elf chick is with me.
Yes. And just so you all, reminder to all of you, like everyone that you've encountered, you can go up to the
I had to
journal
look at it.
and you should be able to go into the player handouts and see all the ones that you currently that you've encountered. You should see them in there. She so 2 years from now, when you're 10 years old, remember you were 8, right? You're 8, right? And this happened. When you turn 10, she shows up at your birthday party, which is, I would imagine, this like the family affair, which I imagine is relatively small, with a special gift for you. And you open it, and what do you find inside?
I don't know. You tell me. A DOS loot. I'm kidding.
It is an instrument. What kind of instrument is it?
Sure. It's a lute. That's one of my proficiencies. So.
And it is a beautiful lute. It's not super extravagant, but it is extremely well made and sturdy. Something that you would give to a 10-year-old who is very interested in music, that would allow them to learn and progress very well. So that concludes these first couple of years following the events. So for next week, we're going to do a time jump. We're going to jump ahead, I would say 10 years, unless anyone would like to argue for a different number.
Give it 10 years.
10 years sounds
Fine
good.
on my part.
So if you were all growing up, right, you all stay together friends, especially after having gone through so much together as friends. And sure, there are things that happen there's strife and difficulties like any friends have, but you work your way through them because of the connections that you've built and what you've gone through together. And then at some point, some of you may have to leave to go take journeyman positions, to get training, to maybe to go on extended tours to other cities. And there is that point in any teen's life within a medieval society where, yes, you go off, you learn your trade, you prepare for the next stage in your life, to be adults. What might you all do when you reach that point, that crossroads where you know people are beginning to have to leave, to ensure that you would meet up again in the future?
We create rings to rule them all. Actually, that's not a half bad idea. We make little decoder rings, and we somehow communicate with some kind of code that only Spot can, spot out because. No,
Well,
I would say. Go ahead.
I was going to say, for Alamar, due to his parents' trading routes or contacts in different cities, Alamar has the ability to go to different cities, whether they be far away, close by, and be able to try and potentially stop at places that he knew other people were at. If I have no idea, Druid Boy is out in the middle of the woods somewhere, maybe he throws a stick that direction. But if somebody specifically is going to a place, Alamir would make it a point, as he's getting more and more in his family's business, to take the trade route or the relic direction through those cities, so that he can always be in contact with the group.
Yep. So, and that works really well up to the point where you need to go to some kind of school to become an apprentice for a good number of years to learn.
Yes,
the knowledge, acquire the knowledge.
So he would do his best to do that, and also while he's doing that, also make contacts in those cities, because he knows he's going to be going away for a few years of his own, and he wants to be able to stay, whether it be a quick message, whether it be a raven or whatever. He has people in as many cities as that could be allowed points of contact, of established points of contact, people who wouldn't be leaving.
I would say if we're skipping like 10 years, I would say we would probably, over the next couple of years, is where we probably would start to go on our separate ways, wherever that might be. So by the time we're 15 or 16, I would try to make sure before everybody leaves, or, get notes to them saying we should try to meet up again, in 3 or 5 years. Come back, have a beer, catch up on old times, just to see how everybody's doing. And if anybody needs anything in the meantime, let me know. And then I would try to just keep in touch with each one of them as they moved on, because Hill's Edge is my home, and I would try to stay here as much as I can. But if I meet the wandering monk that, takes me under his wing, or, gives me that extra discipline that I'm looking for besides the town guard that, is here, I would travel that way, but make sure that I come back at a set time, or the festival that happens in town, or whatever, that we all try to come back for that and meet up again.
Sure. So then,
because the little festival just happened. So
how much over the years do you guys tell the stories and reflect on these events in your lives that happened around the Cult of the Dragon?
A lot.
Yeah.
And but my brother's never involved in the stories on the bad side in any way.
Absolutely. So then, maybe to align with what everyone has said so far, those events started 3 days after the Festival of Greengrass. Perhaps you decide that the Festival of Greengrass 10 years following would be like the 10-year anniversary and a time to celebrate having survived and however far you've come. Kind of like a class reunion, but specifically centered around like this as an anniversary for this experience.
And it would be for the whole gang, even Dom and them too. So try to get as many of us back as we can. Just say, hey, let's get back together. So
excellent. Then that is what you do and what the plans are and where we will end tonight's session. Fantastic. And we will pick up again next week, 10 years in the future.
Awesome.
And see where everybody is at and what happens. So we'll meet back in Hills Edge.